I want to talk to you about a story that I saw today. Bill Gates says climate change will not lead to humanity's demise. Pardon me? Wait, hold on just a second. Hold on. Let me just go back into the records here and see. Let's see. What has he said? 2015, climate change is a terrible problem, absolutely needs to be solved, deserves to be a huge priority. It is the poorer people in tropical zones who will get hit by climate change, as well as some ecosystems nobody wants to see disappear. The threat of climate change is dire. He said that just 2 years ago. It'll be the greatest challenge the world has ever faced. We must take it on. We must reach net zero emissions by 2050 to avoid a climate disaster. 2021, to avoid climate disaster, we need to eliminate emissions from the ways we create electricity, grow food, make things move around, blah, blah, blah. No one will be hurt more from climate change than the world's poorest people. It's already worse than most models predicted. To prevent climate change scenarios, we need breakthroughs in key areas. He's now put billions of dollars behind the climate change movement. Now he says, not so bad. Not so bad. Not so bad. What the hell just happened? Okay? What just happened? On a completely unrelated note, let me give you another story today. Amazon, the first company to say $30 an hour. You come on in and work at our warehouse and it's $30 an hour. 30 is an interesting number because they just yesterday laid off 30,000 people. Why? Because they're going AI. Okay, it's all going to be automated. Everything. This is the first. This warning. This is the first. What do you call that? Aftershocks when you get the rumbles before the big earthquake. You know, it's like a pre-shock. It's the quick, quiet, very low on the Richter scale rumble, and you're like, what was that? What was that? That's an earthquake coming. Things starting to shift. Just a little bit. Not the big one yet. Just a little bit. Just a little shift.
Didn't you always used to use the term birth pangs?
Yes.
For this?
It's birth pangs. Yeah, it's birth pangs of the things yet to come. You're just having that first birth pang. 30,000 people laid off. Now, remember, gosh, think of the money they're saving because they were paying everybody $30 an hour because they were such a great company. They care about people until they could replace all the people. Now, why am I bringing that story up next to the Bill Gates story about climate change? What do those stories have? What do they have in common at all? Power. And I don't mean just political or economic power. Absolutely, that goes without saying. I mean energy. The world is starving for energy. I've got a story for you next hour, and I'm going to show you exactly where you have to be, whether you're for climate change, we got to go all green, or we got to go all in on, server farms. One way or another, I will tell you what you have to do, and it is imperative that you do it next hour. But here's what snapped together today. We have been seeing this movement, and I know that the world is about to change. And our system doesn't work. The two parties don't work. It doesn't cover everything. We have been fighting over communism or fascism. Both of them are wrong. Okay, they don't work. And they've been sold exactly the same way over and over, except global warming. Global warming has been the one thing that has not been out and out Marxist until it had to be. And then you're like, okay, yeah, all right, we want people to die. We want people to die because it'll save the earth. So we're absolutely, anti-growth. Okay. Pretty easy to see what side you're on. At least for me. Pretty easy to see what side you're on. I am for growth. I am for technology. I am for an end to this global warming nonsense, except I am also pro-Earth. I think we have a responsibility to make sure we do things that are right for the Earth. I am absolutely pro-pharmaceuticals until I'm not pro-pharmaceuticals because I think the pharmaceutical companies have gotten out of control. I am absolutely for doing everything we can with our farmers to be able to have them grow and grow food to feed the world until we start screwing with the food so much it's not really even meat anymore. And we don't really know where it's from. So am I for big ag or against big ag? Because I like parts of it. I don't like parts. Am I for the pharmaceutical companies or against the pharmaceutical companies? Because I like the pharmaceutical companies until I don't like the pharmaceutical companies. Am I for the planet or against the planet? I like AI, but I'm also terrified of AI. Am I for AI or against AI? I am for jobs. I am for people. So how can you be for people if you are for AI? Do you see how none of this works? You see how you are literally, we are already dividing ourselves into, we're being pulled apart. We don't know. I've got another thing I'm going to do next hour after I tell you the other thing next hour. Hope to get to this other thing where you don't know what the truth is anymore. We are pulling ourselves completely apart, right? You don't know what the truth is. You don't know what to believe anymore. Did Erica kill her husband, Charlie Kirk? Please. But there are a lot of people who don't know. They don't know the truth. Why? Why don't they know the truth? Because people who don't believe in anything will fall for everything. And we don't know what we believe anymore. We going to elect Mamdani? Yeah. New York is going Marxist, maybe Islamist to some degree. It's going that way. It's going to happen. So how is that going to work? I brought in a chalkboard because I was explaining this to Stu. And Stu, I want you to help me with this, because as I was laying this out for you, it's because it's there. I want you to know I've divided this chalkboard into two categories, and they are not good or bad. They just are. Okay? Because there are things that I like on both sides of the chalkboard, but I'm going to show you what you're going to be asked to choose from, because these are how these two sides are going to end up in the end.
It's sort of like a great realignment.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So on one side, we're going to have the global warming people. Well, I'm not for the global warming people because that's all degrowth, right? Not for that. But I am for workers, and I am kind of anti-AI. I don't want AI to take over everything and control everything. Correct?
Right.
But at the same time, I am AI and tech driven. I just announced something yesterday with AI. Okay. But I'm for ethical AI. Global warming and degrowth? No, I'm for drill, baby, drill. But I am big business, but I'm not big business. I believe in capitalism. I believe in ethical capitalism. But I don't mind big business, but I have a hard time with, I don't know, some of these AI companies like Google and everybody else that now seem to be getting into bed with our government. I don't want them in bed with our government.
Well,
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, like you mentioned Amazon, right? Like Amazon's a good example of this, right? It is a company that obviously is very much big business, but also seen as like capitalism.
Yes.
And like, so do you like that? Do you not like it? I mean, there's things I love about Amazon. There's things
I don't like about it. I
don't
don't like the fact that they are the government server farms. I don't like that. Okay. Big pharma. There's lots of it I like. Lots of it I don't like. I don't like control and digital IDs. I'm anti-Marxist. That drill baby drill side, that's anti-Marxist. But it also leans globalist. I'm against that. But it is for abundance. Growth, abundance. Right? On the other side, and I'm showing you how these things are going to line up. The other side is global warming and degrowth. But it's also going to be pro-workers, anti-AI, anti-capitalist, Marxist, but it's going to de-emphasize degrowth and Marxism. It'll be for real food. It will be maha. It will be local. It'll be free trade, but not really. Fair trade, maybe.
Yeah, like they call it fair
maybe.
trade. Yeah, because
It'll be
free. This classic free trade seems to align more with the other side.
In the end, it will be a local farmers market. In the end, it'll be your ability to trade with one another the way you want to trade.
Yeah,
okay,
sure.
That's how it'll be sold, and it'll be 15-minute cities. It'll be 15-minute cities because the rest of the world is going to be AI, digital IDs, globalism, tracking everything, and this will become the anti-that. And so they'll say, I'll live in the 15-minute cities. Remember, it'll be degrowth and Marxism, but it will be packaged in such a way, we don't want to be that. We don't want to be that. So I'll live in my 15-minute city. I don't need all of that technology. I don't need the self-driving cars. I'd rather know my neighbor. I'd rather walk down the street, get my food that I know I get, but I'm not going to be able to do those things. But I don't want to do all those things because I don't want to have the digital ID. Okay? What you're going to get on one side, it is in the end going to be globalist and fascistic. Global fascism on one side. The other side will be Marxist degrowth. What I'm presenting to you is pretty much, especially on the Marxist degrowth side, the global warming side, that's going to be a utopia that will never survive. It will never survive. But that's the utopia that people are going to be offered. They are now going to, because global warming is now starting to be, a no-go zone, it's going to be changed. And it's going to become pro-people, anti-tech, anti-big tech corporations. It's going to become about anti-pharmaceutical companies. It'll be about real food. It'll be about health and maha. It's going to be about all the things that you probably go, I'm kind of for that stuff. And the other side is going to be the other side of you that you're for. Well, I'm for capitalism. I'm for progress. I'm for abundance. I'm for, having energy. This is the split that is coming. And I believe the Marxist global warming side is going to be extraordinarily appealing to a lot of people. You may even have right now you'll hear this and go, I'm never going there. Mark my words. It's going to be very difficult to see the difference of right and wrong because everything's going to blur on you. Things that you think you're for, they're suddenly going to be for. But are they actually for that? And that goes to both sides of this issue. Because what's not on this chalkboard is the U.S. Constitution. This is the way the world will split. These are the choices you're going to make. Which way do you go? There is a third way, and it's the U.S. Constitution. That's not on the board. Because right now, that's not popular and no one's talking about it.